Peacock is the co-founder of Republic for Everyone, and you would have to describe him as a survivor. He's a cancer survivor, and he's an author, and he's also the co-founder of Republic of Everyone, which is a sustainability communications agency. Ben's message is, are there lessons to be learned from the planet, from personal experience? And as a survivor, it sounds to me as though he does have a message for us. I'd ask Ben to join us.
Thank you. Just ask my technology to join me. So, thank you. I'd like to tell you about my near-death experience. It started out like this. I was out on a buck's night. That was the buck. He was getting married, not to me as it may appear in this photo, but to his own beautiful wife. The thing about this buck's night, though, is no matter how hard I tried to be a good buck. I drank all the beers, I did all the shouts, but I had this pain in my back that just would not go away, no matter what I did. When I felt this pain in my back, it sort of went all the way through to my groin and sort of down into my testicle, of all the strange places for a pain to be. And I thought, this isn't right. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, I took myself to the bathroom in a pub in Sydney, and I sort of felt where it was starting to hurt, and I found a lump on my testicle. I thought, this is not good, this should not be here. I went straight out the pub, I got straight in a cab, I went straight home, I only stopped to get a kebab on the way. True, that is true. Next day I went straight to the doctor. He said, a lot, and he sent me for an ultrasound. And that's when I got those fateful words, when they looked at the ultrasound and they said, you've got cancer. You can imagine the impact this has on your life. I was 33 years old, and I suddenly felt like it was all going to fall down around me. It was my 1-year wedding anniversary. All I could think about was my wife and the fact that we may not get to live to see wedding anniversary number 2. The next day was the Tuesday, and I was in there under the knife at 6 a.m. getting my first operation. It didn't really get any better from there. A week later, I had a second operation. It's called an RPLND. If you were to feel under your solar plexus to where your pelvis starts, it's about a foot. I had an incision that goes all the way down through there, and they took all my guts out and they put them on a tray and they pulled all the lymph nodes from around my spine. When they finished, they put all my guts back in. But as you can imagine, just like when you dig a hole and the dirt doesn't fit back in, the guts didn't fit back in either. So for 6 weeks, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't stand up straight. It took me a year to be able to do a sit-up. That's the sort of pain. When I kindly could stand up and walk properly, my reward was 4 rounds of chemotherapy. To understand chemotherapy, you have to understand it's designed to kill you. Basically, they try and poison your body and kill the cancer before you die. It is chemicals going through your body that dissolve the inside of your mouth lining, they dissolve the inside of your stomach, they make your hair fall out. You get up every day and you throw up. The only people who kind of understand are the people in the ward with you, who you call your chemo-subbies. It didn't quite look like this, though I swear it does in my memory, but to understand the impact of this, they get this silvery liquid and they stick it in your veins, and the nurse wears like a lead vest as she does it and a big set of gloves, and when the bag is empty, it's in your veins, they throw it away in another bag that says, danger, contaminated waste. This is what you go through, this is the treatment. So I want you to imagine that, you go out tonight, Friday night, you go and you find a lump somewhere in your body, tomorrow you go to the doctor, the next day you go and get an ultrasound, on Monday you are there getting under the scalpel, and you do not go back to work this year. Your whole life changes like that, and you're wondering, will I live or will I die? I can only describe cancer as sort of basically kind of like this. Every assumption on what you thought your life is and thought it would be sort of crumbles to the foundations. It makes you question everything. You have to sit there and think, you assume you can enjoy a meal, but you'd eat a meal and you throw it straight back up. You've got this assumption that throughout your life you have hair and suddenly your hair's gone, You have this assumption you're going to have a family, and are you going to have a family? You have assumption that you're going to have a great life and grow old. But this assumption has to go out the window too. Most of it makes you rethink family, friends, loved ones, connections, community, what I can only call the basics. It made me realize that these fundamental foundations on which life is built, you've got nothing. The rest of it doesn't exist, yeah? So why do I tell you this right now? Well, of course, I think the world is facing a near-death experience, and there's a lot that can be learned about from my experience. But sadly, the way the world's going, I'm not sure we're going to survive. Let me tell you why. When you look at what made me survive, it's a pretty simple steps. I had the symptoms, and I noticed them. I went and saw the doctor. Then I got a diagnosis, and I listened to it, yeah? I did the treatment, and I had a good, healthy piece of luck that helped me along the way. When you look at the planet, you go, well, we recognize the symptoms. We've been to see the doctor. You know, if you look at a medical doctor, they're kind of a scientist of the body, whereas climatologists, biologists, these are people who are scientists of the globe, which is a body, yeah? But here's the problem. You know, when it comes to the diagnosis, we're really not listening. We're getting told and we're not listening, and it's leading us to not do the treatment, and what that leaves is a big fat hole in the luck category where we're hoping that luck's the thing that's going to get us through, yeah? If you look at it, if you think about the stupidity of this, you go, what if, you know, if I'd have got diagnosed by the first doctor and I'd have gone, well, I've heard of misdiagnoses before, maybe this doctor's wrong, maybe I should get a second opinion. That would be a fair enough thing to do, yeah? So I go and I get 100 second opinions, yeah? 97 of them say you got cancer and 3 of them say you don't. That's essentially the situation we've got in the world today. It's 97% of the scientists are saying this is the way it is, 3% of them are saying we're not, you know? The diagnosis is real, the treatment is clear, we just won't believe it, you know? Because I think that science makes you act, science makes you think, but passion makes us act. And what we're proving is that we're passionate deniers that something so cataclysmic could actually be happening to us. How passionate? Well, 74%, this is global figures, it's kind of out of America, but 74% not convinced or deny that humans are causing climate change, and that's one of many environmental issues. Why? Because that's how humans think. That's kind of how blokes think. Let me give you an example. I sit on the Men's Health Committee for the Cancer Council of New South Wales, and we've got one job to do, and that is to convince guys to try and survive cancer. If you look at how things go, basically, men in any cancer, pretty much you can imagine, are more likely to die of cancer. For lip cancer, it's 5 times. For larynx cancer, it's 5.3 times. Esophagus, 4 times. Lung cancer, we're more than 2 times more likely to die of cancer, yeah? If you're a smoker, you start to think twice at this point, yeah? But it's not just all cigarette-related, it's bowel cancer. I had testicular cancer. No woman has ever died of that, yeah? So the Cancer Council suspects there's 2 things going wrong here. First of all, we men think we're indestructible, yeah? We think we can drink, we think we can smoke, we think we can consume, pollute our bodies, yeah? Without consequence. Yeah, consequences happen, but that guy, not me, yeah? The second is we're not very good at facing the truth. When we find out something's wrong with us, we don't listen to the doctor, yeah? In fact, as guys, we don't even go to the doctor if we can avoid it. It's our wife that takes us along, statistically true, yeah? We pretend it's not there, we wait and see, oh, maybe it'll go away, you know? We become deniers or we become skeptics. We start to seek easy, fast solutions everywhere from people with no qualifications whatsoever, and the internet is full of them. I pulled out a few of my favourites. This is Jim. He's been preparing remedies for cancer sufferers since 1954, sorry. This particular one is maple syrup and baking soda for 3 weeks, but don't go past 3 weeks. I'm not surprised that Jim is still a truck driver. Yep. I thought this one was pretty good too. This is the onion treatment. You have to get an onion, squeeze it through cheesecloth, drink it as juice twice a day for 40 days. If that does not work, another 40 days. I don't know which is going to kill you first, the onion juice or the cancer, yeah? But, you know, we laugh at this stuff, and we think these people are a bit silly, but when it comes to the earth, this is us. When it comes to what ails the earth, this is us, looking for different solutions, yeah? Let's go back to this guy. Nothing, you know, about him. It's just a photo I found on the internet, you know? We're more likely to experience a life-threatening event and less likely to survive it. And here's my problem, is when I look at this bloke, I come up with this theory, and it's just my theory, but when you look at who's running the world, you go, you know, nothing particularly against these individuals, well, not all of them, but as a demographic, the same blokes who die of cancer are the same people who are in our government running the countries, same people who are our CEOs, and the same people who are the people we listen to who are on broadcast radio. There is a demographic joining here of denying. We're all hoping that step 5, luck, is going to be the amazing thing that saves the day, yeah? So we know what we have to do, we're just not doing it. And me standing up here saying all this is probably not really going to change anything, yeah? What I'm hoping is this last bit just might give people food for thought, yeah? You see, I'd done the treatment. It was no fun at all, I can tell you, yeah? But I'm out the other side, and what I can tell you is that life on the other side of the treatment is very different to life before. Yeah? When you face death and you learn to appreciate the basics in life, yeah? On which everything is built, the most important things in life, and life is a better place to be. On a personal level, it's things like stop worrying about all the little things and the details and just take care of the big stuff. The details don't matter that much, yeah? If you miss the bus, or I've got the 44-inch telly, I want the 46-inch. Does my bum look fat in this? These are not important things in life, but we fill our heads with them. When you're worried about losing it all, you learn there's no other worry can come close to this. On a more important level, it's community, it's family, it's friends. That's my family up there, and I couldn't appreciate them more. When I was lying in a bed wondering, will I live, will I die, all I wanted to do was spend time with loved ones. Yeah? It's funny, you suddenly, all those emails, all those jobs, you don't want to know about them. You just go, give me the people I care about. Yeah? And before, when you don't have this, you sort of go, oh, but they're always there. They'll wait. I've got to do this other stuff. Suddenly it becomes front and center, so important, the important things in life. Yeah? When you feel that time is limited, you seek quality time and quality experiences, and you stop seeking stuff. I think there's a really good lesson in that for the world. I like this quote, though. I think it's a little bit harsh. I don't think it's too weak. Maybe, probably too scared is a better way of putting it. But there's truth in it, yeah? When we talk about answers to the world's environmental problems, I hear words like, you can't, and how you gonna, a nice idea, but. And that's 50 years away. And you sort of go, well, hang on a sec. I was born in 72, and the cure for testicular cancer happened in 1973. I did a bit of a Google. There were 85,000 generations of humans lived before me. Yeah? Now, if I'd have been born in any one of them, I'd have died of testicular cancer. But fortunately, some people in America went, let's find a way. Oh, it's, 85,000 generations assumed it was uncurable. And then somebody comes along and goes, hey, we can cure this. Let's have a go. And they achieved it. I've always wondered how many people, when JFK said, let's put a man on the moon, said, oh, you can't do that. Or when Tim Berners-Lee stuck two computers together and said, we'll call it the internet, went, you're a nut job. If you don't have the vision, you can't get to the answer. So for my part, after surviving cancer, I was an advertising copywriter. I was advertising whatever people wanted advertised. And I like the art of writing and creating things that convince people. I thought this was good, but I wanted to apply it to a more interesting part of the world. And I sort of decided from then on I'd apply my skills only to do things that would be good for the world and make it a better place. And I often wonder what it would be like if everybody made that decision and did it without compromise. First thing I did is I thought, I'm going to write a book. I thought, I'll have a go. Let's have a go mentality. I'm going to write a book for my own benefit. I wrote a book, it's called Lessons from My Left Testicle. It's funny, I argued with my author about this because he said, look, women buy books, you can't put testicle on the cover. And I said, yeah, but it's a good title. And then we agreed it could go on, but it's smaller than the other words, you see. It got shrunk. So ladies, if you're sitting on the bus, they can't read that word from a long way away. That's why it's like that. But it got published. I didn't write it to get published. I wrote it because I wanted my own catharsis and understand this experience. Not only did it get published, it got written up in papers to inspire people to stop denying it and go and get checked up if you find something. So this is good. It created a positive impact on the world. It was Book on the Week in 2UE at the time when Alan Jones was on 2UE, so go figure, doing some good there. And having done this, I thought, well, hey, what about my daily professional life? Surely we can do something with this too. And co-founded a company called Republic of Everyone. We decided that we would use the tools of evil, the marketing and advertising, to sort of do good in the world. We hadn't been done in Australia, and we thought, we'll give it a go. Everyone said, oh, but what about your job? Can you make an income? And I went, jobs, income. Have I heard these conversations anywhere before? Anyway, as it is, it looks like this. We called it Republic of Everyone because we believe we're all in this together, so we should be good to each other and to the planet that we live on. And the best bit about it, there's 23 of us now. We've doubled every year since we began, in a time when the market that we came from has shrunk and had really difficult times. Now, doing good for business has been good for our business. And it's not sort of in spite of that, it's because of that we've done well. And this is this sort of, these words, paradigm shift of can we convince the world that thinking about these things and can we improve the world is actually a better place to be, and it's a big improvement in how things in the world we live in. We had another go at something else. We thought, oh, how about we have a go at getting everyone in Australia to have a garage sale on the same day? We thought, everyone would have a bit of fun, get a few bargains, meet a few neighbours, and we'd shuffle stuff around the neighbourhood, out of people's cupboards and into others, and give it a new life. It'd be sustainability, but people wouldn't know they were doing it. We thought, this is a good idea. So we put it out there. It's in year 3 now, and last year we redistributed 2.5 times the height of Everest worth of stuff around Australia. Next year it's looking like it'll go to the UK. So these are the things, just have a go. Overall, look, ladies and gentlemen, I have faced a near-death experience, and I believe the world is facing a near-death experience. I think you can see the parallels. We know we have a problem. We just need to start listening to our doctors and do the treatment, even if we're a bit scared of it. It will have some short-term discomfort. I can tell you that because I've been through it. It hurts. But life is a whole lot better on the other side. I believe if we can face up to this near-death experience, it'll help us appreciate the basics and realise that these basics are what the rest of the life is built on, so we should start valuing these basics. I think we've gained the courage to stop listening to the naysayers and start having a go. And I believe we'll be pleasantly surprised to find that we are indeed the lucky ones, and that we have the chance not only to survive, but in the great cliche, but to thrive because of it. Thank you very much.